Palworld. It sold over 7 million copies in its first 5 days, and it's received mostly positive reviews for early access. But that doesn't mean everybody loves the game. So welcome back to a series that I call Bad Reviews for Good Games, and today we're taking a look at what all the haters have to say about Palworld. So just for reference, today we're going to be using the Steam page for reviews because for some reason, this game has a Metacritic page, but there are no reviews on it. I don't know. Let's get into it. Don't mind if I do. Let me just go ahead and click on these reviews, and then we're gonna filter it out. And 1, 2, 3, get to that negative. Let's see what the haters got to say. So for our first negative reviews, we didn't even have to scroll down. It comes from my boy Razul, and it instantly made me laugh. So we're gonna get into it. He said, building's clunky, AI fighting and movement is clunky. The whole thing reeks of an asset flip in an asset store. And believe me, I know that. I went to college for game dev, and every big assignment was told use the UE store if it's not affecting the focus of the project to just look good on resumes and such. I don't know if you really did go to game dev school. Well, I guess it's more about developing games, because I was about to say, this is a big ass run-on sentence, but I mean, I guess your sentence structure doesn't really matter when it comes to game devs. Anyways, that's what this feels like to me. Freshman game dev barely getting a C rating on their homework, and it shows. And this is the part of the review that I really like. But you know what? Fuck Nintendo anyway. Hopefully this gets them to finally innovate with Pokemon again so people get excited over Pokemon with guns so much, even if most of the hype is being driven by streamers. Watch the game die out in a month. I don't think streamers are the reason this game is popular. Like, people genuinely like it. If you go on Twitter, this game actually has like a strong community. Now, I'm not saying the community will last. There's no way for me to predict that. But I've seen people uploading clips of them doing trick shot montages. Like, people are throwing out one of the little, I don't know what they're called, like the Pokeballs, the little spears in the game. They hop on it. They wait for it to like expand, and there's like a glitch where it launches you in the air, and then they do a little, if my editor can find a clip of this shit, they do the Spinaroonie, the FaZe Clan, Optic Clan Spinaroonie, and then they snipe one of the damn pals. When I seen that clip, I was like, yeah, there's a chance this game is gonna stay, because that's like some Stan shit. You gotta really love a game to pull off some bullshit like that. So our next review comes from Boris J. Is that the Prime Minister? What the fuck? What the fuck is your profile, dude? Can y'all, this man got big titty teeth on the damn profile. Yo, this dude is crazy. I gotta get off this goddamn profile. Like, I get it, like Tifa, but goddamn, let me go back to your fucking review. That shit threw me the fuck off. Boris goes on to say, I just can't do survival games. Hit a tree, collect a rock, empty the wood into the storage. Hit a rock, collect a stone, empty the stone into the storage. Use wood and stone to build a structure. Level up base to build more structures and store more wood and stone. Catch a cute pal, catch another cute pal, catch an even cuter pal. Hit a tree, collect wood, empty the wood into storage. Hit a rock, collect stone, empty the stone into blah, 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 blah. You get it, bro. This is like his little joking way, which is clever, by the way. It is funny. This is his funny way of saying the game is repetitive and he doesn't like survival games, which, by the way, I never think that's, unless like the gameplay loop is like really boring. A lot of times that's not a fair criticism, because it's what's boring is subjective. I just contradicted my damn self. But freaking, I just lost my damn train of thought. Oh my God. But yeah, you're allowed to not like survival games. My thing is, like, it was pretty adamant. I mean, it was pretty obvious this game was a survival game. It was pretty well known. It's not like a secret, so I don't understand why that's bothering him so much, especially because you bought the game on the 20, or at least you posted this review on the 24th. I don't know when you bought the game. I don't know. I think for me, the reason, I don't like survival games either, by the way. This is the first survival game that I've been able to tolerate. I'll be the first one to slander these early access survival games. I think the reason that I can stomach this one and why I don't agree with it, he only has 2 hours on record. It says it right there. You didn't get far enough into the game. I'll give it to him. It is a little rough in the beginning, but the thing about this game is you're supposed to catch the pals, the Pokemon, and then you're supposed to make them work on your base. He only put 2 hours into the game, so he didn't play enough to actually see the benefits of catching the pals, because if you catch the right ones, you don't have to work on your base. They're gonna do it while you're away. You can literally have your pals chopping wood down constantly. Every time I would come back to base, there were mountain high piles of wood just all over the floor. There were rocks all over the floor. I had a fire type constantly going at the furnace, making the ignite or whatever that shit is called. You're literally supposed to turn them into slaves. That's the fun of the game. So for me, it kind of, because you can catch the pals and you can put them to work at the base, it kind of takes the survival element, not completely out of it, but it really streamlines everything is the word. They solved the problem that I have with survival games by implementing this. And I think it's cool that you can do something with your monsters besides make them battle. Your focus on the game really, after you get outside of the first couple hours where you do have to grind for a little bit of material, is just exploring, catching new monsters, fighting some of the humans, enslaving people. There's a lot of cool things that you can do in the game. There's a lot of really cool monsters. So I mean, you're allowed to dislike the game. I'm not mad at it. I wish you would have gave it a little bit more chance to see how it plays once you actually get some pals to work on your base and really start to streamline the process. I think it's fun. And on top of that, co-op, you can play with friends. And our next bad review comes from Lil Abortion, which is... Little Abortion goes on to say, this game's incredible. I love everything about it and would love to be able to continue playing it, but it's just sad that for more than 3 days, there's been a glitch on the official servers where I had a level 24 character and where you're stuck in a loading screen for infinity. And the worst part is the devs they have not even said anything regarding this amongst multiple other game-breaking bugs. Super sad to give this a thumbs down review, but unfortunately, there are way too many bugs making this game unplayable for him. Now, me personally, I haven't ran into any crazy like bugs, stupid AI, but nothing like game breaking like this. That being said, I'm not gonna dismiss your experience. You got 35 hours on the game, and it also seems like you really like the game based off the first couple of sentences. You just ran into some really bad bugs. I will say this is early access, so you kind of should know what you're getting into. It's an unfinished game. You can't go too hard on it, but that being said, I'm also not mad you're not playing it anymore if you get stuck, especially if you grinded to level 24 and you get stuck in some some bugs and glitches. You have every right to be upset. Hopefully they fix the game for you. I'm not gonna debate you on this one. This is a fair review. Your name though, change it. Cookie Puncher says he doesn't like the game because first off, I barely even have owned the game for 48 hours, 2 days, and I played it a lot, but not straight 48 hours. The problem with that opening sentence, and it's a little suspicious to me, is you claim you haven't had the game for more than 2 days, but you got 64 hours on record. How did you get 64 hours out of the game if you haven't owned it for 2 days? That's what I need to know. This is crazy. This is crazy. Unless you capping, because you run, that's the only thing I can think of. Unless you capping, because it does say it was posted January 23rd, and today's the 20. Oh no. I'm recording this on the 25th. It's 12 a.m. So he posted this on the 23rd, and then you have the 24th. So that makes sense. It had only been 2 days he had the game. He just posted this the other day. Yeah, how the fuck do you have 64 hours on a, there's only 24 hours in a day. I don't know, chat. Make it make sense. I don't know. Chef Caesar says he doesn't like Palworld because turning off motion blur doesn't actually turn off motion blur, and that shit hurts my eyes. And you know what? Fuck motion blur. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use this moment to say, dear game developers, I've never met a person on Earth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These the 10 crack commit. Let me stop. Anyways, I've never met anyone in my 33 years on Earth that enjoys motion blur in a video game. One of the worst games I ever played was on the PS4, the launch title. What was it? It was Killzone something. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me know in the comment section. It was Killzone something. It was a launch title for the PS4. It had motion blur in it and you could not turn it off. I had to stop playing that game, not just because it was a generic first-person shooter, but it just blinded me. And ever since then, I'm not even mad at you. And I commend you because you have 11 hours on the game. You tried to play it, but the motion blur just kept fucking with you. Me personally, I haven't had an issue with the motion blur because I'm playing the Game Pass version of the game through the Xbox app on PC, and that version, when I turn the motion blur off, it works. But for you Steam users, God bless your retinas. All right, so our next review comes from Scrimmy Groingis. He goes on to say, feels like getting a new slush flavor at the gas station. A generic one like Tropical Freeze. Choose a size and fill up your cup. First impression, tastes pretty good. But that's about it. The flavor is familiar, but not distinguished enough to pinpoint. It's just a mixture of sugary slop someone else made that some dude is being paid minimum wage slapped into a machine. What is the end product trying to be? Is it trying to be mango, pineapple, passion fruit? Only moments later, and it's half melted now, barely holding together at parts, but so long as one doesn't rush things and end up with a short brain freeze, it still tastes like delicious sugar. Just don't worry about all that sugar will do to your health and taste in the long term, you'll have a good time, right? I don't know what you're trying to say, dude. There's two things I take from this. A, you admitted to eating gas station food. What the fuck? Two, Two, what the fuck are you saying? But did you like it or not? Because I'm gonna be honest, you have almost 40 hours on the game. You talking like it's trash. You wrote this big ass fucking sugary ass metaphor. This motherfucker, this might be the first diabetic metaphor I ever read in my life. He wrote a big ass diabetic metaphor talking about he don't like the game, but you got 40 hours. I'm calling cap on this review. And our next negative review comes from Rico. He says he doesn't like Palworld because this feels like Jingling Keys, the video game. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You good? On a side note, do you guys like my Sonic the Hedgehog lanyard? I'm sorry, let's move on. Zaril says he doesn't like Palworld, and the reason is because there doesn't seem to be any goal here. You're just supposed to level up your base and hit trees and rocks, I guess. It's slow and there's nothing interesting happening so far. First off, I'm gonna point out you only got 1 hour on record. You didn't even really get into the open world. You didn't catch any cool monsters. You didn't get to see anything that the cool monsters do when they build up the base. You didn't do any of the boss fights. You didn't get a mount. You didn't craft any cool armor. You didn't mention anything about co-op. It seems like you didn't fight any of the humans or the boss fights. It seems like you didn't really do anything, and then you complained. In Pokemon, to be fair, every Pokemon game starts exactly the same. You make your character, you name them. By the way, well, no, the new ones you can customize it, but the old ones, I'm thinking of the old ones. But you make your character, you name it, you talk to the professor. He says, pick one of these 3 starter Pokemons. You pick the water because statistically speaking, Squirtle is the best starter Pokemon. Fuck you if you disagree. And then you run around in the grass for like fucking 5 hours just fighting nonstop to level up your monster. Palworld, it's an RPG. It's got survival elements in it, but it is an RPG. I don't understand this concept of people hopping into RPGs and then being upset they have to role play. Just go play 2K. Or, well, no, because that's an RPG too. Well, just go play Bejeweled. Huh? I don't know why that came to mind. Bejeweled. Shout out to Bejeweled. Match 3, baby. Jimmy Slimmy said he don't like Palworld because Pokemon's got nothing on this masterpiece. Me and all my guild members, we haven't been able to enter the official server we play on for 2 days straight. Please fix this shit. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you leave a negative review with a hint of humor in there. I feel like sometimes these reviews try a little bit too hard. And you know what? I feel like he got his message across. It was short, words are hard. It was short, sweet, like Sonic, and to the point. You got 32 hours on the game. The server's not working. I'm not mad at this. You're allowed to be upset, dog. That's a fair criticism. Our next negative review comes from Scrimio Pescator, and it's not in English, but here on this show, we love everybody from any country who speaks any language. I'm all about representation, so I went ahead and threw that in Google Translate, and it translates from Portuguese. It says, this is a game to make you dizzy. They literally took a generic mobile game template and put some AI design stuff on it and sold it as a Pokemon with guns game, and everyone fell for it with their mouths open. You know, you're allowed to dislike the game. I'm not mad at it. I guess the part that confused me is I was like, and maybe this is a mistranslation. Anybody in the comments speak Portuguese? Let me know. Is this an accurate translation? Because I feel like this is off. A game to make you dizzy? Why did it make you dizzy? All you do is run around and hit trees and catch Pokemon and shit. Unless he was one of them people doing them sniper montages, jumping on Pokeballs and mountains, doing 360 no-scopes and shit. If that's the case, then it's your fault. But you allowed to dislike the game. Shout out to the Portuguese, man. Sleepy doesn't like Palworld, and he goes on to say, I don't like it because it's streamer slop. Plain and simple. And then you scroll down. I was gonna say something, but then I scrolled down into the comments, right? And then it says, then return it. For real. LOL, people will play anything. And then this guy right here, shout out to Adventure Man. He said 0.7 hours. You must have such a detailed account of the game. Go back to iFunny, you little cave troll. Yeah, you bought it. Honey punches a throats. Whoa, what the fuck? But yeah, he pointed out, I was gonna point it out, but he said 0.7 hours. You don't have a right to have an opinion. I don't wanna say you don't have a right, but it seems like you didn't play the game and you played it for 30 seconds and said streamer slop. I don't like the game, whatever. Registered Hex Offender. Change your fucking name. He gave it a bad review. He says he doesn't like Palworld because it's much more of a base building simulator than Pokemon with guns. Resource collecting is tedious, a very derivative game with elements of Arceus, etc. Now, the problem with your review is you only have an hour on the game. You really didn't experience a lot of what it has to offer. So I don't completely agree with you that it's just a base building simulator. Where I will say is though, because you said it's a base building simulator more than Pokemon with guns. What I will say is that I do feel like the trailers for this game are misleading. And what I mean is it takes a long time to get a gun in this game. For those of you who have not played it, you do not get a gun until late game. Matter of fact, at the time of this recording, I don't even have a gun right now. I think I'm like level 13 in the game. And I think I got like maybe 8 hours on the game or something like that. I do have a crossbow, and then I have like a poison, a fire bow, and like a regular bow. I have a bow and arrow. I have a gun type weapon, and the crossbow is nice. It does a lot of damage. I got the triple shot as well, but you don't get guns until late game. And I do think it is a little bit misleading to put in the trailer, everybody's got guns. They make it seem like it's really easy. From my understanding, the first handgun that you get is ass. You're better off just sticking with the crossbow or the 3-shot bow and arrow. So I think that's a little bit misleading, but you didn't even get that far into the game. Like, you didn't even get a bow and arrow. You literally didn't experience anything. I don't know what you're talking about. And change your fucking name. This shit is weird, dude. Some of y'all like, there's just certain things. It's not funny, bro. It's not funny. It's probably plays fucking Minecraft. Anyway, let me stop. Like, I'm just joking. It's really Roblox. Anyways, Dork Toast hates Palworld, and he says the quality of this game is not deserving of its success. I completely disagree with that statement. I just don't think anybody is in any place to determine whether or not somebody deserves success. Just say whether or not you like the game. Like, this is just, it's a statement. They put so much money into marketing this game. That's also not really true. I think I seen like maybe one trailer at the Summer's Games Fest like 7 months ago. That was the first time I seen the game. And then they announced the game like 2 years before, from my understanding. There was like 2 or 3 trailers. They didn't really put any money in the marketing. I don't think they had a budget for that shit, because from my understanding, they was making mobile games before this. If anything, this game became a big ass meme. The gaming community turned the influence that they have into a marketing machine for this game, because if you go on Twitter, if you go on Reddit, it is nothing but fucking memes for this game. So I don't really think they had a crazy marketing budget. It was people uplifting this game. And then he says it's so little into the actual creation. It's nothing more than an asset flip. Nearly everything is an asset ready available on the Unreal Asset Store, assembled together in mishmash. It truly feels very little actual work was done creating this game. I am very concerned for the future of game development if this product is what amounts to a successful game. Now, some of you are not gonna like what I have to say, but hear me out. I don't know if they really did use assets from the Unreal Store. I don't know. If there are pre-made template assets on the Unreal Store that are meant to be used by any game developer that wants to, you can't be upset that they use some pre-used assets. That's what they're there for. Also, if it is an asset flip and they took what little money they had to get that, and then they flipped it into something super successful, is that not working smarter and not harder? Who's to say for their next game, now that they have some money, they can now do a full-blown, because here's the thing, not everybody has money to do. There's a lot of people out there that want to get into game development. There's not a lot of, maybe they don't have the money to do a full scale, create their own engine and do this, that, and the third. They have to use assets from the asset store, and then they flip it. As long as it's original idea with the asset flip, who gives a fuck? And from my understanding, that's what it seems like it is. I don't agree with that. It seems like you're just kind of butthurt because it was an asset flip. If you don't like the game, that's fine. But I don't know. It seems like your review is more of you trying to preach an agenda instead of just saying, hey, I don't like the game. It sucks when stuff is an asset flip and it clearly has uninspired mechanics. It's not doing anything, but they're trying to make something dope. But I think it's all right. I don't know if I agree with this one. Dork Toast. Cyber MCA says he doesn't like Palworld because this game looks so fun, but I only get a black screen. It's been 4.3 hours yet I only get a black screen. Shout out to you, Cyber. That is some dedication right there. This man was literally just sitting at his computer screen. Come on. Trying to shift it with his brain. You should have got an SSD, man. Then your computer would have been a lot more faster, like my Sonic lanyard. I'm sorry, I don't know what the fuck that was. Lukey says he doesn't like Palworld, and the reason being is you can't play with Game Pass players even if they're on PC. And you are 100% valid in having this opinion. I did not know this, so I didn't pay for this game. I have the Game Pass. It was free on Game Pass, and I have the Ultimate Edition, which gives it to you. It gives you the Game Pass on Xbox and PC. So I downloaded Palworld on my PC, thinking I was gonna be able to play with my friends on Steam, but nope. It turns out that the Game Pass version of the game is on completely different servers. Apparently, it's an older build. It's an older build of Palworld, and the latest build is on Steam. The thing is, I'm not paying $30 for this. That's the reason I tried it. It was free. And I'm already like level 13. I got a lot of gear, a lot of pals. I'm not starting over. Nope. So hopefully they keep their word that crossplay comes. I'm not upset with anybody. This is especially weird. Like, I can understand the lack of crossplay between Xbox and PC, but Game Pass PC players can't play with Steam PC players? Make it make sense. I don't know. Valid. Do, re, mi, fa, sol. Just gonna stop. The game fucking sucks! Real Vamp doesn't like Palworld, and the reason being is he said in his review, I like the game, hate the servers. And for me, I'm gonna have to call cap on this review, and the reason being is, sir, if we take a closer look at your review, it says you have 68.6 hours in the last 2 weeks. And at the time of this recording, the game ain't been out but a week. So you put in almost 70 hours in the first week. Do you have a job? I don't know. But what I do know is that 68.6 rounds up to 69. Nice. So I guess it's safe to assume you fuck with this game. Yeah, I made a dad joke. You know, there's gonna be somebody in the comments that's gonna be like, I don't get it. What do you mean he fucks with the game? 69 fucking get a life. Harmonica says he doesn't like Palworld, and the reason being is the game is fine, but everything the developers do and say just rubs me the wrong way. And to you, I say, if you want to be loved a certain way, if physical touch is your love language, it's important to state to your partner how you need to be loved. So, Harmonica, feel free to let me know if you ever see this video in the comment section. How do you prefer to be rubbed? Matter of fact, can the editors throw in some sexual chocolate, Kenny G type of jazz music in the background? How do you prefer to be rubbed? Let us know. You prefer your feet, your back, your hands? You want somebody to kiss your hand while they rub it? Your nipples if you're a little weird? Nah, seriously, what did the devils do to you? I can't change the interact button. Skello there says he doesn't recommend this game. Matter of fact, he refunded it, and the reason being is he said people call it Pokemon with guns, but in reality, well, actually, it's just Ark Survival with strange anime-looking creatures. And to that I say, is that not Pokemon with guns? You literally just you good? Quins says he doesn't recommend Palworld, and the reason being is there's no evolutions. Your weak looking Route 1 Pokemon stay like that. Kind of a deal breaker to me how little depth there is in PAL combat. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's little depth in the PAL combat, because I mean, Pokemon's turn-based, and then once you master the concept of like what enemy is what Pokemon is weak to what, you know, it's not that deep in my opinion. This one, you actually have to be in control of the character. You actually have to dodge the attacks, and you have to keep in mind of the strengths and weaknesses. So like, I'd say it's on par with Pokemon. Some might even make the argument that it's more engaging, but I mean, I guess that all comes down to the person. The thing that I do agree with though in this review is there's no evolutions. I wish they would have stated that. There are no evolutions in this game. So what you catch, that's exactly what it states. So there's gonna be points in the game where like I caught like this little Firefox, and I thought that it was gonna turn into some bootleg Ninetales. Nope, it stays the web browser the entire time. And I'm gonna be honest, who uses Firefox in 2024? Get Chrome, Brave, Opera GX, I don't know, but fucking Firefox. Anyways, yeah, that was kind of disappointing. So just know the coolest monsters are usually going to be in the higher areas, and they're already going to look like big, but the early monsters that you get, unless you level them up, they're always going to be kind of weak. And it would have been cool if they at least maybe even introduce some evolutions. They don't even have to copy Pokemon exactly doing the 3-stage evolution. It could be one evolution that could make it different, or 4 or 5 or 6, but I think one or I think a 2-level evolution would be cool and different from Pokemon. That's the part I do agree with. It would have been nice to see some change in the character designs. Evan says he doesn't recommend Palworld because it's very promising, but it'll probably be absolutely dead in a month with no content updates. That's what I'm expecting, especially with the developer's track record. I'm not gonna lie, you sound like you have like a self-sabotaging personality. Like you say, oh, I like the game, but I'm gonna break up with you before you break up with me because I just can't handle this heartbreak shit. That's honestly what it sounds like. Because you only have 1 hour on the game and you were like, damn, you know, I really like that hour that I played, but I'm gonna break up with you before I get it too attached because a girl broke my heart in the 7th grade. And now that I'm 35, instead of going to therapy, I'm still going to talk about how some girl broke my heart in the 7th grade. Fucking weird. Seek help if you need it. And anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, so if you ever see this video, Evan, make sure you're tapped in on Twitter. GI Updates, Gaming Illuminati. They drop a lot of great news updates. Recently, Palworld actually dropped a roadmap on things that they're working on, including PvP, raid bosses. They're working on that crossplay, fixing bugs. They promised that they are going to fix things. They released this roadmap, and you would have known that if you followed the Gaming Illuminati page on Twitter, because they drop a lot of quality news updates and podcasts. Something's in my eye. Guess I gotta go to the doctor as fast as I can with my sonic lanyard. I apologize for the immaturity in this video. Go and from now on sin no more. Does not recommend Palworld. Long ass name, by the way. Reason being is there are 3 things I feel are non-negotiable for a game in the year 2024. 1, fully remappable keys. 2, booba slider during character creation. Need those big honks, those big melons. And 3, sheep. This game only has 1 of 3. So basically he's saying after putting over 20 hours into the game, he can't recommend it because the game does have sheep, but you can't fully remap the keys and you can't make the titties on your e-girl bigger. Kind of a weird comment because I think you play as like a little girl in the game. If you do make a girl, I'll be trying too hard to be funny. This shit's weird. But you know it's not weird? Supporting more of my content. Click the card on the screen and that'll take you to my video sharing my own opinion on Palworld. I did a first impressions video. It turned out great. And the best way for you to find out is just clicking the card on the screen and hooking a brother up with some more of that watch time.